Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Villain Show. I'm your host, Valen, and we'll be covering all things Chelsea related for the day. So, as we all know right now, the news report coming out is that fellow Leicester City manager Enzo Maresca is the heavy favorite to be taking over from the Chelsea manager job left by Maurizio Pochettino. However, personally, I still think it's a smokescreen. I don't think Maresca is gonna be the guy that Chelsea appoints. I think what's happening right now is just a PR stunt being played by the club. Yes, I know some of you will be saying, "Huh, what do you mean about PR stunt?" Fabrizio Romano already said that the "here we go" is almost there. Uh, that's the thing. Read between the lines. For me, that's what I'm doing. Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein are the two biggest journalists in English football right now. David Ornstein, obviously the biggest one in England, and Fabrizio Romano for the worldwide pool. But if you ask me right now, I still personally believe it's going to be Roberto De Zerbi. Why, you may ask, is because neither Romano or De Zerbi are, neither Romano or Ornstein are playing him down. For example, when Ruben Amorim was potentially linked to us, Fabrizio came out with a post saying that he's not in the picture at all. But look, he's constantly not saying that De Zerbi is out. Why is that so? Look, if he wants to say that Roberto De Zerbi is out, it's just very simple. He could just type it and say Roberto De Zerbi out of the Chelsea manager race, enter, send. That's it. Then we know that he's gone. But right now he's saying that Enzo Maresca progressing. The here we go is coming soon. Where have we seen that before? Julian Nagelsmann. We were heavily linked to him until suddenly out of nowhere, Maurizio Pochettino, here we go, Chelsea manager. We have been played by the owners and their PR team right now. It's very personal. I think that they are doing another PR stunt. They are trying to make sure that the fans who didn't like Roberto De Zerbi shifts their mindset into thinking that okay, when we announce De Zerbi, the fans will be relieved and happy because we didn't go for Maresca, we didn't go for McKenna. Yes, but let's not be. For me, that's what I genuinely think is going to happen. Firstly, what happened was McKenna's link started coming out the week before Pochettino got sacked. This was okay, briefing already, briefing time. And then when Pochettino was sacked, the likes of Thomas Frank was coming up. Kieran McKenna's name again appeared. Was in Enzo Maresca's name. These three guys, these prominent three names came out, and then after that, suddenly, a mystery fourth member came in. We all know, personally, I think the mystery fourth man was De Zerbi, and it's still Roberto De Zerbi right now. And now we see that McKenna's out of the race, but Thomas Frank. Look, personally, I don't want Thomas Frank. I don't think he's good enough to be a high level manager. I think he's good as a mid table guy at best. But the thing is, none of Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano are saying that Roberto De Zerbi is out of the Chelsea race. They are just saying that Maresca's progressing. Maresca. Look, and one more thing I would like to show you guys is have a look here, right? Okay. Look here. Fabrizio Romano said that Chelsea will be offering Enzo Maresca a 2-year deal plus an option for one. But then also at the same time, when you look at Dave Ornstein's tweet, he has mentioned over where is it? David Ornstein. He mentioned where is it? Orny. Minimum 5 years. Can you understand? Both top journalists are contradicting reports right now. One saying 5 years, and the other one is saying a 2+1. For me, I'm just curious. And so my okay, so let's take the move step away from the conspiracy theory right now. Let's say, Enzo Maresca is the guy. One, the owners know. the sporting directors know they need Champions League football this coming season without a doubt. They have to get Champions League football because the amount of money they spend is not sustainable. They need some sort of financial income, and that is through Champions League football. Not Europa League anymore, not Conference League, not winning an FA Cup, not winning a Carabao Cup. You need Champions League football. And it's the best opportunity because Liverpool is rebuilding, Man United will be rebuilding. You have probably Spurs, Aston Villa, Newcastle, and Man City. These are the main four competitors right now because Liverpool and United are probably taking a back seat for this coming season. But they can because they just missed out on Europe for 1 year. And plus, Liverpool are playing European Football Champions League. So, I mean, sure. But Chelsea cannot have another season without European competition, just not only because of financial, which is like obviously the money coming in from Champions League football. We also need shirt sponsors. Jordan's brand, we are desperately trying to get them to come in and become our kid sponsors. Obviously, this season, finito, they are not coming in, but we have to get Champions League so that we get financial income from them as well, or through a shirt sponsor that is going to give us good substantial money. You see, these are the case financially already. There's a thing coming out about that. Secondly, Enzo Maresca, yes, he has coached at Manchester City, but let's not forget, coaching is one thing, and becoming a manager and managing in the Premier League is a whole different story. There's so many instances. Like for example, Paul Clement is one of them. He worked under Carlo Ancelotti, and then when he came in, he totally fumbled the bag. So that's why I say that Enzo Maresca, personally, and you giving him a 2-year contract with a 1-year option for extension. What does that mean? It means that you guys are not gonna think that he's gonna get you Champions League football. 2 years, and let's see, this guy is young, he's inexperienced, and the last team he managed was, I mean, obviously people are saying that his style of play suits the play. I hear that all together, but for me, my main concern would be his tactical naivety. Like you see, the two clubs that he's been to for now, the most recent ones, are Manchester City, who already has a structure built already when he came in. Let's not forget, he's not the first assistant manager there. He was the one that came in after Arteta and the Lilos and the guys who went to Seattle Sounders to be Seattle FC to become the director of football. They built the foundations there. He just came in to follow and understand Pep's style of play. That's it. And then he went to Leicester, a stacked Leicester squad. Let's be honest, when Leicester went down, we all most likely thought that they will be coming up immediately. No, and they did. But let's not forget, he nearly bottled that league as well. How is he going to bottle it? I mean, he's going to come in the Premier League first season, and he's going to think that because he was so good at Leicester, winning the league obviously, and he was in Manchester City, he means his style is going to be 100% working. Chelsea is a different animal. And top managers like Unai Emery, Gary O'Neill, yes, I consider Gary O'Neill a pretty okay manager, but not the best. They are going to be able to find out the weaknesses like that. They are going to exploit him, and he's going to be naive. But fans are all going around saying that, oh, he's the second coming of Pep Guardiola. Why do you need that? And thirdly, let's not forget, you need to pay the release clause of him, which is 10 million. And let's not forget, you need to pay the release clauses of his staff. You need to, and which he wants to bring 5 more staffs. Let's not forget, we are getting the Brentford set piece coach coming in. There are talks of Cesc Fabregas coming in, and you want another 5 guys, including him. The financial incentives doesn't really align, in my opinion, compared to, let's say, you go for Roberto De Zerbi, which is less than 5 million. That's it. And also fans are going around saying that, it could be because Paul Winstanley wants Enzo Maresca. He doesn't want Roberto De Zerbi. Huh? What do you guys mean by he doesn't want De Zerbi? He literally was the guy that hired Roberto De Zerbi. And then there is Sam Jewell that worked with him, and he likes De Zerbi as well. Those two guys, and let's not forget, reports are coming out saying that Ekbali likes Roberto De Zerbi. So you have Sam Jewell, you have Paul Winstanley, and you have Ekbali. The three of them like Roberto De Zerbi. So how is it? And let's say for me, I think Boli is just taking a step back and saying, okay, what you want to do, you just do it. I'll support it. That's it. But I don't think the reports coming out don't make sense. Like we need to have a report coming out saying that, oh, something don't like someone or something don't or this, because it's easy for the club to just be like, oh, Roberto De Zerbi doesn't want to come to Chelsea, or we don't want Roberto De Zerbi. Just like that, push it in the media and done. I mean, but look at this. All the journalists who are coming out with stories don't know. We have seen it this past week that majority of the journalists, except the big two, which is Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, have no idea what's happening around the club. There might be a few lesser known ones that have very good sources, but they are not even being credited or not being acknowledged by the fans, saying that, oh, they're not tier 1 or they're not tier 0 or whatever it is. But I still think my own coming back to the conspiracy theory right now is you need Champions League football, and you're gonna risk it for a championship manager right now. Are you sure? You are a billionaire. And Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart are both in their final strike, in my opinion. I think they have to get this right. You need Premier League experience to a certain extent, and that doesn't mean coaching. You will need to be a manager and understand the league first, and then come in and say, yes, let's do it. We are not a Bayern Leverkusen that could risk it for Xabi Alonso because we consistently get Europe. We don't. So Enzo Maresca is not a very, let's say, he's a high risk, high reward type of manager. He can either come in and we go right to the top, or you can come in and we just have a similar season or even worse season than Graham Potter. Ironically enough, I think right now I would have taken Graham Potter out of all the options, right? Except Roberto De Zerbi, because I think he's quality. And I would be absolutely annoyed if he ends up at Manchester United. So yeah, that's my opinion. I think we are just being played because here. So this is my conspiracy theory going around saying that, okay, from the start, the club has already decided that Roberto De Zerbi was the guy. I don't think sacking Pochettino, they wouldn't know who their next manager is. They, like you see, there are reports coming out earlier saying that they want a fast and swift appointment. They don't want to take time. They don't want to interview people. And I'm pretty certain they know who they want already prior to sacking Pochettino. There were even images of Paul Winstanley coming down with Pochettino to Brighton to watch Roberto De Zerbi. And then people are saying that Winstanley doesn't want to work with De Zerbi. How does that make sense? Like, it doesn't add up. The media and the PR side of things are totally playing us to a fiddle. I think Chelsea will end up with De Zerbi. Personally, until it's announced, my mind and my heart thinks it's going to be De Zerbi. So many reports are conflicting and they don't really deny that he's out of the picture. Because look, Amorim was immediately denied by Romano. McKenna, Romano said that Chelsea told him, oh, it's okay, we don't need you, thank you very much. But Roberto De Zerbi is so quiet. Why is that? Why is it so quiet? Even when Pochettino came out, there was noise. De Zerbi is so quiet, and there's nothing even linking him to the. I mean, recently there are reports coming up that he might be going to United, but that's why I always said if we don't get him, probably he ends up at United, which kind of disappoints me. But it is what it is. I still think we'll get him, just simply because the players that we have right now, Caicedo, Levi Colwill, Mikhailo Mudryk, and also the guys that he can work with in Enzo, Romeo Lavia, potentially fingers crossed Olise, Cole Palmer, even Nicholas Jackson, Reece James. Like the squad of players that Roberto De Zerbi would have at Chelsea, I think would interest him more than going to a club like Manchester United. They have to go for a huge rebuild and need to sign multiple players and try to understand his system. So look at this. This is me just using common sense and trying to think, what is 1+1? Does it make sense? Can this work? Can that work? I think it's a PR stunt because look at this. This is my conspiracy. How it's going to happen, all right? How it started. The club sacked Pochettino. The names come out. We were upset. suddenly fans started realizing that it's actually a smoke screen. And the club is like, ah, shucks. They started realizing, and fans, because when they realized there's a smoke screen, fans were not really that happy. And so the club is like, okay, since you guys are not happy, let's move on to narrowing it down to Maresca, Frank. And let's get rid of McKenna because, okay, McKenna, a lot of people don't want him. Let's keep Thomas Frank because he's such a poor choice that the fans would look at someone like a Maresca as a very nice option. But at the same time, the fourth name, the fourth mystery guy, that's when the name come out of Roberto Di Zerbi. That's when I think a few of the fan base, those that had negative opinions on him, started to shift. They started to think that actually out of Maresca, Di Zerbi, and Thomas Frank, I will go with Di Zerbi. And then now you see, oh, Chelsea are progressing in Maresca. Huh? Maresca? Why? He just won the championship and he nearly bottled that. I mean, yeah, he plays good football, but it's a whole different breed. You want an experienced Premier League guy with experience in Premier League football. You want a guy that can deliver you Champions League right now. Somebody as naive and inexperienced as Enzo Maresca isn't going to do that. And he won't be given the time. Let's be real. Let's say they really do give him a 2+1 year option and he don't get you Champions League, they're going to sack him. But the thing is, guys like Maresca, you need at least 3-4 years before you can finally see his football come to fruition. Look at Arteta. He had to suffer and make the Arsenal fans want him out for 3 seasons straight before finally he grew a pair of, you know what, and brought Arsenal up. Enzo Maresca, I don't think these owners would have the patience to take him. I say, look, I think after a season he's getting sacked because I don't think he's gonna get you top 4, let alone top 6. I think he's probably gonna get 8th place finish because his style of play is gonna be he's gonna be technically naive and you'll be found out by the more experienced managers like Gary O'Neill, Unai Emery. That's what I feel. I mean, even Iraola would be a good option to have. I wouldn't hate it that much. But it is what it is. Michel Sanchez, you had Sebastian Hoeneß. I mean, those guys are pretty good. And then you have Boli coming out saying that he wants an overseas manager. I mean, why wouldn't you want Roberto Di Zerbi? Oh, he's a hothead. I mean, with the players, I don't understand. He's a hothead. And so because of his hothead nature, you say, oh, I don't want him. Why don't you just make things very clear from the start of the meeting? Say, okay, this is this. We are doing this. You just coach. I'm pretty sure that Roberto Di Zerbi will be like, okay, cool. Because it's a step up. Let's not forget, Roberto Di Zerbi is an AC Milan fan. AC Milan are looking for a manager. He would gladly go to AC Milan instead of Paulo Fonseca. But the reason why he's not gone there is clearly because it's either between Chelsea or Manchester United that he's agreed a deal with. And if we lose out on somebody like Roberto Di Zerbi, mark my words, he's gonna carry the team, whoever gets them back up to the top. Because Pep is gonna leave, and that is probably what after this season. So Di Zerbi will have 1 season to integrate his ideas in, and then the second season, that's when the players will start. Okay, let's go. Because Di Zerbi has the characteristics of a top manager, personally, in my opinion. People will say yes, he's losing streak or his hot-headedness or the directors. But I don't believe the directors will not be able to cooperate with him. I think Di Zerbi will be able to work with the likes of Paul Winstanley and Sam Joel really well. Enzo Maresca, not now. Personally, I don't think now he's the time, especially how desperate Chelsea is to get Champions League football. He's walking into a poison chalice right now. He doesn't have the antidote to drink and consume. He's gonna go there and he's gonna totally fumble the bag. And his personality, one thing is already look, Leicester fans don't even like him. I mean, look, I don't know the whole story about it, but he might not be the best guy personality wise as well. Like, I don't know. Like, the owners are really trying to become like Arsenal and Arteta. I mean, you don't need to copy them. You just be Chelsea. You just be your own Chelsea. You don't need to be Arteta. You don't need to be Arsenal. But if that's what the owners want to do, by God, I mean, look, if Enzo Maresca comes to Chelsea, I'm not going to be Enzo Maresca out because it's not his fault that he came to Chelsea. I'll be pointing the fingers at Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart, Baghdad Ekbali, and Todd Bowley, and Clear Lake, which includes Feliciano, Luis, Mark Walters, and whoever else, Jonathan Goldstein, these guys. Because look, it is so obvious and so clear all of the options. In fact, let's be real, you shouldn't even appoint these kind of guys at Chelsea Football Club because you are desperate for Europe. So why are y'all even going for that? We are just lowering, we as fans are lowering our expectations and standards for the owners, which is kind of dumb in my humble opinion. I think the Chelsea should maintain where they are and get the players, get the top managers like Nagelsmann. Let's be real, right? If we really go in strong for Nagelsmann or Sebastian Hoeneß, for example, you think they'll turn us down? Genuinely, touch your heart. Do you think they will turn us down? Because if you ask me, the financial issue, the financial opinion right now is down because of the collaboration, because of the sporting directors and the manager. I think Boli and Ekbali is fine with giving him the reins, but at the same time, I think the directors are the ones that are like, no, we don't want to give you the reins because Ekbali and Trust. But the directors need to know you have to get this right because this will be strike three and that's it. The fans will come after you. The fans will come after the owners. The fans will come after everybody except the players and manager. I say, look, Maresca, I'm not going to blame him. There are going to be games that we lose 3-4 nil. I mean, look, there will be games under Deserby we lose 3-4 nil as well. But with Deserby, I feel I have more confidence and belief that he would be able to take us to the next step. Maresca, he's naive. That's my opinion. I just think he's naive. Think coming from Manchester City, then going to Leicester, that was probably always gonna win the championship, and then after that coming to Chelsea. Personally, I would take Vincent Company ahead of Maresca because at least Vincent Company has managed in the Premier League and understands the belly of the beast. This guy hasn't, and we are gonna just give it to him. It doesn't make sense. That's the thing. It doesn't make sense in terms of if you're gonna go with data-driven side, then Kieran McKenna would probably be the most obvious option, not Enzo Maresca. So I'm just thinking that it doesn't align. You get me? I mean, it just simply doesn't because why would you? Data doesn't match up. Players knowing the manager also don't match up because Deserby clearly knows more of players. Deserby knows more staff members there. The only guy that knows Enzo Maresca is Joe Shields, and Joe Shields is just probably out scouting most of the time. So, how? I say, what is the factor that entices you? Oh, he comes in and let's say he came in and he impressed the board about which players he can do, which players he can coach, what are the qualities of the players, the strengths and weaknesses. You know who did the same thing as well? Luis Enrique. And what happened? The club said no. So that you don't come and use this same kind of reason as to why they were impressed with him. Luis Enrique did the same exact thing and the club said no for Pochettino. I'm not going to fall for that BS. It's just laughable in my humble opinion. And right now, Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein clearly are paid by the club. They definitely have some sort of brown envelope or something. And it's very scary because you look at how strong Chelsea's PR game is. Most of the journalists that we look at, I'm talking your Fraser Fletchers, your Jacob Steinbergs, your Ben Jacobs, your DiMarzio, these kind of guys. I said, look, let me tell you this. The reason why I'm saying that it's probably Deserby is because he's so quiet. Nobody is coming out except maybe Jacob Steinberg that said that Chelsea cooled their interest. He's the only guy. Nobody else came out and said that. And look, the contradicting reports as well, saying that one saying 5-year deal in Ornstein, one saying 2+1 deal in Fabrizio Romano. And it doesn't make sense for somebody like Enzo Maresca to come into the Premier League at Chelsea. I mean, of course, the name Chelsea is good on his CV. He feels he's the next forward. But you only coach one. You have only managed one season in England, and it was in the Championship, not in the Premier League. Look, Chelsea wanted a guy that had Premier League experience. They wanted a young manager. They wanted a guy that played possession-based football. You literally described Roberto De Zerbi. And until the picture of Enzo Maresca holding the Chelsea shirt up and smiling as Chelsea announced him as the new manager, until then, I believe we are being played and it's an entire PR stunt by the club. And the way the fans are moving right now are so critical and they keep changing flip-flop. They're saying that, oh, let's support Maresca. Look, for me, I don't expect anything from Maresca. First season, whatever. I think he's getting sacked in the end of the season if you don't get top 4. That's it. Because look, top 4 was the goal for Pochettino. He failed and he got sacked. You think the owners are gonna tell Enzo Maresca you will get sacked? This is the type of manager you need time. But if you don't get Champions League, he's getting sacked. And then we're going to go find another manager again. And this time we don't know. Well, let's not forget, if we do not get Champions League football this at the end of this coming season, Enzo Fernandez 100% leaves. Cole Palmer 100% leaves. Caicedo, if let's say Arsenal decide to get him in for God knows reason or what, he also goes. Malo Gusto leaves. Reece James, Levi Colwill, Pure Profit, they are also going go. So we have to get the thing manager right. Enzo Maresca is too much of a risk for Chelsea's fans, Chelsea's owners, and the sporting directors to say, yes, let's get it. And the reason, and they're saying Joe Shields say Enzo Maresca, and obviously Joe Shields will put a good word for his former colleague. And let's not forget, Enzo Maresca managed in the freaking PL2. PL2 and Premier League are totally different animals. The only thing I can understand why they will be like, oh, I want to work with him is because he doesn't want to say in transfers that you guys sign the players, I'll just coach. It ain't gonna work. The sporting directors have to know that their job's on the line. They're gonna be badly hounded by the fans. The owners will be hounded by the fans. Because look, 3 years, I don't think the fans are gonna be patient. The fans will probably be patient with Enzo if let's say touchwood he does end up at Chelsea. But they are gonna target all that frustration and hatred towards Win Stanley, Lawrence Stewart, Baghdad Iqbali, Clear Lake Capital, which is your Felicianos and Hans-Jörg Wyss and Mark Walters and Jonathan Goldstein, Todd Bowley. These are the 5 guys that they'll be targeting. And if you 5 men or the whole entity of Blue Coal and Clear Lake are willing to risk the backlash of the fans and lose more financial revenues just because you want to appoint a lower level manager because he's a yes man, he doesn't want to have a say in transfers. You guys are businessmen. You all should know the math in your head. It needs to be able to accumulate. I don't know if that. I don't think you guys are, because look, you've seen it in Potter, you've seen it in Pochettino. Are you gonna risk it for a 3rd season? Genuinely, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be a whole smoke screen. I think it's gonna delay it all the way up until 1st of June, which is what's always been the case. And then they'll say, Enzo Maresca deal fall through. It's very easy for them to say fall through. You know why? They can say Chelsea couldn't agree terms with Leicester City. Done. That's it. That is so easy to say. And then what happened? Here we go, Roberto De Zerbi to Chelsea. And let's not forget, Chelsea paying more money for Enzo Maresca than they are going to pay for Roberto De Zerbi. Why is that so? Why are you giving Leicester additional 10 million for them to go and find a new younger manager? It doesn't make sense. Right? Just pay 5 million at Brighton and get Roberto De Zerbi. It's not so hard. I like De Zerbi. I think he's better than Maresca. I think Maresca is going to get found out very heavily in the Premier League when it comes in because it's going to be this is his 2nd season coaching in England, 1st season coaching in the Premier League. I think he's going to get found out and it's going to be bad because I don't expect him to get me Champions League football. I don't even expect him to get me Europa League football. If he gets me that, fine, but the goal is Champions League because of money and revenue. If the club is willing to risk potentially losing out on that to sack another manager and pay again his compensation and go and pay for a new manager's compensation release clause, that's just extremely naive and deluded. Because who else is gonna be available? What, Thomas Frank? We're really gonna end up with Thomas Frank the year after next. I mean, I don't know, but I personally think it's gonna be De Zerbi because De Zerbi is the most like De Zerbi fits the most. Just get Roberto De Zerbi. How hard is it gonna be? You couldn't even get Sanchez. You couldn't get Sebastian Honer. You telling me Ekbali, the guy who went there and nearly fist up Rui Costa for Enzo Fernandez, went in and get Mikhailo Mudryk, laid down the hammer and said, I'll pay 150 million for Moises Caicedo, and went to take Romeo Lavia from Liverpool. Couldn't go to Girona or Stuttgart and say, give me your managers. You expect me to believe that? Because I believe De Zerbi is already locked in. And I think fans should wake up and start realizing and start thinking critically that the likes of our journalists are no longer credible. The club is paying them to tell what they want them to say. And this last information on Maresca is to try and get those guys that don't really want De Zerbi, when they finally announce him, to change their opinion, say, oh yeah, De Zerbi is very good, let's have it. That's my opinion. So yeah, I think the fans just need to wake up and think critically a bit more and see. Look, if it's my Maresca, I'll have to eat my words and say, fine, the club is not really that smart. And just see what's gonna happen. But I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'm just gonna be like, oh, like watching Chelsea is not. I'm not gonna expect anything from them. I'm just gonna be like, oh, whatever. Look, we can lose 3-0, we can lose 4-0, we can finish 10, 11, 12. I don't care. It's not my money. I'm not gonna pay for anything for the club. I'm not gonna buy your jersey. I'm not gonna buy your outfits or kits. If you find a way, I'm just gonna be watching the game on television in my country. That's it. I mean, I'm not gonna be a fool. When I see that something is worth investing, I will invest in. But if the club is not gonna do something and gets me guys like Maresca, Thomas Frank, McKenna, why would I, as a fan, want to say, okay, let's go? I will support Maresca as the time goes in, but I'm not gonna be like, yes, Maresca. I'm not gonna be as blinded as how I am with Roberto De Zerbi because he's a known commodity right now. That's it. That's all I can say. I don't expect much from Maresca. People saying Europa League is minimum. I don't think he gets us that. I think he will get tactically found out and then he'll revert to a different style of play. You just need Unai Emery or you just need a Gary O'Neill to come in the first 3-4 games and he gets found out really quickly. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I'll just hope the fans look. Even Romano is saying that, oh, the Here We Go is coming soon, and if something crazy happens in the next 24 to 48 hours, if he's saying something like that, instead of like, oh, come on, there is something happening in the background quietly. He knows. And let's say, for me, my closing statement, until I see him on the pic, as the club announced him holding the picture, even if it's Fabrizio Romano tweeting Here We Go, I'm not gonna trust Fabrizio because clearly with Chelsea stuff is being pushed out by the PR side to him to say what they want him to say. So I'm not gonna trust Fabrizio for that until I see the club announcement and him holding the picture of the shirt. Then I'll say, okay, it's Enzo Maresca. But until then, it's for me. I think it's a whole ploy. Chelsea fans need to wake up because it's gonna be Roberto De Zerbi, and I will be there laughing and winning if it's him. Or I could just be eating my words right now and saying, "Ah, crap, we got Maresca." All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Thank you for everybody listening. Hope we can see you guys soon. Peace.